Hey everyone! Again, thanks for joining us tonight. It's another live stream night for Flying Dawn V Coaching. If you probably noticed, we didn't have a live stream last week. Ano lang, family time lang because it was Jana's birthday and I wanted to spend time with family. And of course, ano nga, October 31. So I guess people were a bit busy then with Halloween. And I know that people can't really go to the cemeteries right now. Pero in some way, I'm pretty sure you all paid tribute to your loved ones who passed away. And especially with the times now, it's very difficult. So sometimes we have to adjust our routine, adjust whatever we can do, and focus on again the things that we can do. And one of these things is, of course, the concept of racing. And the fun topic right now is that we finally have an upcoming race, and it's not your usual virtual race, a virtual race that we've all been wanting to, or we've all been used to the past few weeks, past few months. It's an actual real race, and we have the Trisports team with us right now to talk about the details. Of course, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are itching to go back to the pool, ride your bike and run, but with the situation right now, it's quite prohibitive at this point. But what can we expect come December 6th in Vermosa when the new normal try and biathlete coming up? Okay, so to get things started, let me bring in our good friend Carlo of Trisports, and he's here to give us a few insight about what got them started, setting up this race. Oh, so hi Carlo. Again, thanks for
Hi,
joining us
Don.
and allocating your a little part of your very busy schedule for this live stream. So how are
Of
you?
of course, thank you. I'm doing well, and it's really nice to see you also safe, and I see you very active pa rin online. You're right. When you mentioned earlier that we are all itching to race again, and on our part as organizers, we are also missing everyone. We miss the adrenaline. We miss seeing team spirit of all the participants from registration to bike check-in to the actual race. So we really miss racing. And yeah, you're right when you mentioned about Turbo Sprint and Biathlete that we are staging on December 6th. Yeah.
So yung of course, being close to a lot of triathletes, organizers, syempre, you're not just people who organize the race. You're building a community whenever you hold races. That's why ako personally, I'm good friends with a lot of organizers, including you guys. Like I have a lot of athletes that join your races, and it's a breath of fresh air to actually find out that this might actually happen soon. Now, di ba nga we've had a lot of, virtual races. But the thing is, as much as we appreciate these virtual races, it's hard to compare it to the real thing because, for one, you are racing separately. You have different courses. Some are doing it on the trainer, some are doing it on the treadmill, like me. But at the same time, it's hard to really gauge your competition kasi parang it's like a time trial of sorts. Pero you don't really see what other people are doing. And parang iba rin kasi pag even if you're, 'di ba, uso ngayon yung wave starts, Ironman has been doing wave starts. So when you race against someone, alam mo may possibly may head start ka or may head start siya. But at the same time, seeing just, may parang sense of camaraderie suffering together on the same course, di ba? So that's I guess one of the things that people have been missing out. Now when you came up with this race, this particular date, how did it get started? Parang what gave you the idea and the confidence to really say na, oh, this is something that we can achieve before the year ends.
That's right. Okay. So let me start with napa walk down the memory lane ako when you mentioned about the camaraderie and seeing each other because you're right because I think now we have Zoom in and Zoom out meetings every day or other online platforms, but in terms of our health and fitness pa din, just to contextualize, I think the pandemic is a game changer, because I say that because it's not really, for example, in our organization, our company, right? It's not our IT department. It's not the national uh, information technology agency that told us to go online. It's really the pandemic that forced us to go online. So a lot of things change from there in terms of the way we do things and the way we live our lives. So going back to Trisports, we created and until now, our guiding purpose is to influence others to have a healthier lifestyle. So it's really nice to see people na whether online or offline, may efforts to stay fit and active. So what made us decide to go through with to push through with Turbo Sprint and Biathlete? I would say um we should not stop we already admitted that okay, this is our mindset. Okay, we want the pandemic to go away, we want the COVID to go away. But what if it doesn't? No, for us, we have to be in the mindset of transitioning and thriving into the new normal. So what we did was during pandemic, we were able to gather different insights from our multi-sport athletes, from other stakeholders, because we needed to know the interests of all the stakeholders. For example, the LGUs, our marketing partners, our participants, our racers, our co-organizers, we needed to make sure that we take into consideration all the interests so that we can come up with a good, at least a good solution, a sound and logic solution on why and how we are going to push through with these events. So, okay lang ba, Don? I'll take this opportunity since I mentioned na we are always basing yung mga decisions namin with the interest of the stakeholders. No? So prior, I think this was last month, we did an informal survey. Okay, informal survey online, mostly online. So we asked 10 multi-sport athletes. I have my código here. So we asked 10 multi-sport athletes, and these are the interesting findings or data that we were able to gather from them. So out of 10 multi-sport athletes, six are still engaged with their sports, but they're doing the activities online. Okay, out of 10, eight eight say that they will go to training right away. So that's exciting. And out of 10, six will do a mix of online and offline trainings. So I think these are the people that already accepted that the pandemic, I think, is here to stay. No, and then going back, out of the 10, this one I find really interesting. Out of 10, 7 to 9 say that somewhat online activities can in a way replace yung physical activities. Okay, so we also asked them what they liked about the online activities that they are doing. The top considerations or things they like are they have control over time, the place, which is very convenient, and of course the safety because they didn't have to go out already. And this one is a bit funny because sabi nila, no cut off time. No, and then yeah, the things that they don't like naman about online activities are that there's limited movement. Of course, everybody misses going outdoors, prone to injury and prone to laziness, and of course, hanging out with friends. And out of 10, 8 will also consider joining the race in December. So their considerations, we asked them, and these are the reasons or the factors that we considered in organizing the race. Okay, the location, safety, registration fees, and the readiness and confidence of the participants. Because they're thinking, if I'm going to join a race in December, I think I should start training now. Or what kind of training will I have? Because it's a sprint event. Yun na, yung question mo earlier, Don, when you asked about the criteria the criteria that we have in coming up with these events is that we want before Turbo Synth and Biathlon were really designed to ensure that everyone will enjoy a year-ender race. No, these are for the we would say newbies who have not raced for more than five. So even before they get into the serious races, na-enjoy muna nila yung multi-sport, na-enjoy muna nila yung triathlon. So these are the we would say motivations that we had in coming up with these races.
So I don't know. When you think about it, parang um, looking at the I guess the tone of the athletes right now, parang you have to really be again be thankful for what you can do right now. Pero may ano pa rin, no? There's this desire to really have bring back racing, and I completely agree with you when we say that um, ito rin yung same approach when it comes to business. Diba? You have your own business, you have your restaurant, let's say. As much as we want to stay completely, safe and completely online, diba, na contactless, you really have to find a way to make it more sustainable and to make it more, I guess, agreeable to the customer and at the same time agreeable to you. So when it comes to racing, it you if this pandemic won't really end in a snap of a finger, diba? So the important thing is that during this time we are able to find what works, what we can what we can do to one continue the sport that we love, and of course keep participants and athletes safe. Kasi I'm not putting down virtual racing at all. Kasi I always do it. I recommend my athletes to do it. Pero, sometimes it's nice to shake things up in the sense that we've been doing virtual races for the past ilan months na ba tayo? Mag 8 months na, di ba? Like next week, it's gonna be the 8th month. And guess it's about time that we try and experiment a little bit in terms of what we can actually do. Like example, PBA. PBA is they took a page out of the NBA and are holding their own bubble right now. In Clark, the same thing happened with Chooks 3x3. If we have that, yung kaya nga parang you could say trailblazer yung NBA when it comes to holding the playoffs, diba, in Disneyland, kasi it was a bit quote unquote risky, pero at the same time with proper planning they can mitigate those risks. And I'm pretty sure this is also something that you've all been working hard at, diba? Kasi
Right.
as a triathlete, syempre if you want to be 100% safe, diba? You have to stay indoors. Pero syempre, pagdating ng race, hindi naman pwede na indoor yung race, di ba? So there are always risks involved in everything that we do. The important thing is that we mitigate those risks and we assess whether worth it ba yung particular risk or not. And
Right.
siguro parang the nice thing about our sport is that we're outdoors. Di ba? What's the recommendation of DOH when it comes to bringing down the rate of infection? Diba? It's to ventilate, stay outdoors, diba? Get sunlight, and that's a nice
Tama.
thing about triathlon. You're always outdoors, and social distancing. Paano ba yung social distancing when it comes to racing? So we're gonna talk about a little bit about
Yeah.
that in a bit.
And if
So
I may add lang,
mhm,
very quickly, I like when you mentioned that kasi from our side, both on the organizer and athletes ourselves, and in terms of the business, actually we're not looking at this as a business approach. Eh. It's really about seeing everyone again. It's really nice to see everyone coming together and high fives after the race, encouraging others. So what we are doing now is that you mentioned PBA, you mentioned other sports. Of course, we have resources also. I would say limited resources now, but we are working with what we have to achieve what we want, and that is to provide a quality race, a safe race, and a fun race for everyone. Because again, when you mention online, I think we're starting to get used to it. So for us, yes, we can start to get used to it, but at the same time, let us not forget the core or the primary reason why we are doing this, and that is to stay healthy and then to stay fit. So for us, whatever platform or whatever method it is, online or offline, if we can do a mix, so that's what we have been doing. And tama ka when you mentioned that all of these safety measures, that those are the things that we took into careful consideration to make sure that nako-comply natin yun.
so you mentioned nga na this isn't for profit. I'm pretty sure that's the case kasi for you to limit the number of participants,
Yes,
and
correct.
still hold the same race. In fact, mas matagal pa nga ngayon compared to diba, talking initially about the situation. It's gonna take a longer time for you to hold the same race compared to before, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna to some extent I guess expend more resources holding the same event. It's definitely not for profit. It's for love of the sport, and I'm definitely sure that a lot of athletes appreciate it. Because you see all these people doing DIY races, DIY time trials. So how different would it be for them to hold, let's say, a race on their own with their own barkada, and for you to hold an actual proper event? I would say
Mhm.
that even the event that you will be holding might even be safer than these, or definitely will be safer than these. Why? Because we have marshals, we have controlled environments, we have medical personnel. Of course, mas enforced ang distancing, 'di ba? So all these things, when all things considered, kasi parang nangyayari, I guess, racing might go underground na such that you're technically not racing, sabi mo, training lang to, pero magkakasama rin kayo to the point that some safety measures might not be enforced properly kasi you're doing it on your own, 'di ba? So
Right.
that's the nice thing about having a proper race, a real organized race.
Yeah.
Kasi
And
nga
I had to clarify something lang pala when I mentioned
Mhm.
we're excited to see everyone doing high five. Baka even that we have to limit because
Oo,
we want to have
virtual high
limited
five na.
physical interactions. So
Mm.
now I'm thinking about it. I'm excited and anxious because what will happen? I'm not sure. I'm sure you. Well, I think you have been experiencing this when you get to meet your friends after some time. You see everyone wearing masks, shields, and then walang beso. It's really not the usual thing. So really for us, it will be a good learning experience because more than anything, I think it will be us, the multi-sport community, who will learn from this experience. Like from the moment they arrive, we already put everything in place. How are they going to do the temperature check, and also like what will be the uh, parang the vibe or the ambience, no? Pag nandun na sa race, will we still feel yung pagiging aggressive or competitive ng mga, or everyone will be just on a happy mood or happy vibe kasi they were able to go back to racing again. So yun yung mga things that we are really looking forward to this event.
So, yun nga, parang ako, knowing triathletes, ano lang yan, kunyari lang yan, hindi competitive. Kunyari for fun lang. Pero deep down inside, naghahanap yan mag-PR, naghahanap yan mag-podium, of course. So, kahit nga sa virtual races, kahit ako, sabihin ko, hindi, for fun lang ako, sabay titingnan ko na yung results. Ano ba ranking ko?
Tama.
Diba?
May ganun pag nakikita kayo, sabihin yung mga, wala nga akong ensayo, wala akong practice Pero nakita mo, biglang hataw, parang,
Oo.
wow, wala ka pang practice niyan But yeah, really exciting to
Um,
get back to racing.
So, of course, yun nga, we discussed the motivation and I guess some dynamics behind it. Pero an important thing that we want to discuss is, of course, the nitty-gritty details surrounding this race. The logistics, ano ba yung mga kailangan natin mga bantayan para maging all systems go na ba. So, for us to continue in that topic, we can now bring in, of course, ito ano naman, kilalang kilala rin to sa tri community, si Mikey, Chua, and Carlo, I'll
All
get
right.
back to you in a bit. So,
All
ano
right.
muna tayo
Thank
with
you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll see you later.
All right. So, Mikey, again, thanks for joining us and giving us some of your time. I know you guys are really busy staying on top of everything, di ba? So, how busy are you? Ano ba yung mga pinagkakaabalahan natin, making sure that this race pushes through?
Good evening, Coach Don, Idol. Good evening to everyone din sa mga nagpo-follow dito. No? To answer Don, basically now we are busy preparing for the event, and primarily ang focus namin in the past 2 months, I would say, is securing all the necessary permits, and we are almost there. No, medyo meron lang tayong mga delays na in terms of securing the permits, coordination kung kanino hihingin to and yan. But nevertheless, nakaset naman tayo and hopefully makuha natin lahat tong permits na to in time. So yun yung focus natin, Coach.
So pinag-usapan natin yung mga permits involved kasi I'm pretty sure it's a huge headache to go through several layers of approval, 'di ba? Kasi ano ba yung mga kailangan natin siya? And of course, we have to consult maybe you could run us through the list of the permits that you need.
Okay, ngayon so when the event, siguro first off, the event is supposedly August. We moved it to December hoping that things will be better by next month. By the IATF Omnibus Guidelines, amended ito lang last October 15, technically sporting events under mass gatherings can be or will be allowed to happen as long as venue capacity, 50% of venue capacity will be allotted, Yun lang ang pwede. But apparently, meron pa tayong mga ibang permits na kailangan i-secure. Let's say, for example, we had to go through PSC and then through GAB also and DOH. So itong body na to is comprised of, they have this JAO or this Joint Administrative Order na kailangan lahat sila will have part of giving any permits or guidelines or recommendations. So we are almost, I don't want to say it yet, pero iniintay na lang natin yung signature dyan. But we have received feedbacks already from PSC, also from GAB. Iniintay na lang yung joint response nilang tatlo. After that, the next process is we go to the regional IATF task force, yung counterpart nila doon. Yun is, we've visited already yung LGU natin, the provincial office and also the municipality office. We're just waiting for that. It might take some time, And ever since we are also transparent that there will be chances of a rescheduling of the event. It's 50-50 until now. We don't want to keep everyone hanging. And we have actually set a deadline by next week that we will have to announce whether or not we will have to reschedule it. But as far as preparations, permits, everything that that is already made available to us, kung ano yung mga kailangan gawin, we are on top of things. So it's very different also, Coach Don, Like for example, just this few hours ago, I was talking to Ilocos Norte, So we were talking about it, kung paano nila ginagawa yung event since they've been starting the cyclo tour already. I'm sure it came across you already, yung bike rides nila doon sa Ilocos Norte. It's somehow, I would say, simpler than what is being required of us here. It goes through the LGU lang also and also the IATF counterpart from the province. Everything is under the guidelines mandated by the province. Tayo kasi, I think siguro, even though Cavite is already Region 4A, hindi siya sakop ng NCR But still, we will have to follow certain protocols na binibigay nga as mentioned earlier. Meron tayong mga we have to agree or abide by the JAO, as mentioned, PSC, GAB, and then DOH. So, yun yung mga bagay na nakikita natin na I think everyone right now is unsure yet kung ano yung step-by-step process. And along the way, siguro we get to learn kung ano yung mga dapat na gawin. And if that will be a contribution to the community, and then I'll be happy, and we will be happy to do that, Na if we can come up with, here's the step 1, 2, 3, in order to do and hold an event, multi-sport event, running events, duathlons, aquathlons, and then we will do that.
So yung when it's nice that you pointed it out nga that you guys are the first people doing this. So kailangan nyo ng understanding from all the parties involved. Kasi nga, for one, I know that racing probably isn't, or definitely isn't on the top of the list sa mga priority ng mga LGUs, especially at this point, diba? So, sinabi rin to ni Princess before when discussing about races is that for them to actually talk to us, talk to the organizers, to you guys for asking for permits and what are necessary to hold this particular event, it's already a big win. Kasi nga, even if you don't get to, like knock on wood, and you don't get to hold it at this particular time, it's already laying down the groundwork for the possibility of racing event sooner than later. Pero the exciting thing is that yun nga parang hearing your insights about the situation, para bang para bang nakakasana talaga, and we just have to be patient and acquire the necessary permits kasi syempre we don't want to do this without any proper approval. Yung isa siguro na when you talk about the guidelines, the difficulty that a lot of people have is that a lot of times these guidelines constantly evolve, diba? Like what is mentioned a month ago will not necessarily hold this month or next month, diba? So I'm sure you guys have to deal with all these details. Ganun. Pero for you naman as a organization, talking about the steps involved in, of course, Carlo mentioned this a while ago. Parang getting the steps or performing the steps involved to push nearer to race day. Would you say it's kumbaga a lot different compared to what you were doing before? Kasi 'di ba, dati na naman permits, 'di ba? Talking to suppliers, talking to the marshals and all. Pero this time, how different is it? Maybe you could give us an insight para medyo mas maintindihan rin athletes how difficult it is to become an organizer.
Okay. I'll talk about it in two perspectives. First, as an organizer, and probably second is from the point of view of the athletes. No. So first, as an organizer, when we were talking to Vermosa about this, basically, like let's say previous years, it was easy, no? Kasi especially that turbo sprint triathlon or the Biathlete is inside a private property. So technically, it's just a simple permit that you will have to secure to the LGU or to the municipality in Imus. So right now, nag-iba yun. Kasi hindi lang yun permit. So, kahit na sabihin mo na you're just within a property, hindi yan pwede kayong mag-organize. When I visited actually the provincial office, I was even told, Mikey, papahuli ko kayo at ipapasara ko yan. I mean, of course, those were just the off-the-record side stories that we were talking about na you will have to follow all necessary or the minimum public health safety standards, of course, to make sure na safe ang participants natin, organizers, and companions. No, that's one more thing. Ngayon, we change, the people that attends a race. We try to categorize it already based on the researches that we have done into three areas. We have the essential people, which are the athletes, and then we have the preferred. These are the media people, and then the non-essential. Ito yung mga spectators. Yung sa Ironman, for example, meron silang spectators pa no, normally na naa-allow, but doon sa omnibus guidelines natin, if you will see, no spectators are still allowed kahit na MGCQ. So that's something different now. So we have to defend it also. When we speak with the localities, we tell them that they need at least one companions, coach. Kasi what if there's an untoward incident, that happens, and then walang kasama yung isang athlete? It's gonna be challenging for everyone also, and somehow it will bring, the security that the athletes will feel maapektuhan eh. Ako lang mag-isa, hindi pa ako confident dito and all, di ba? So it's very important that we give them a role as a companion. to address any emergency cases. So that's one, no? Permits, and then also the controls that we have to follow. We have to basically substitute things, eliminate other things that's being done, and then we have to put in place administrative controls and also some, I would say, engineering controls. So yun yung mga bagay na we will have to consider. Also, imagine na lang, Coach Don, no, as an organizer, pag tiningnan natin, lowering down your athletes to 100, which is more than half of, well, kami naman is, we're not really hitting thousands of participants, no? But at least lowering it down to a percentage to 100 participants per event, it really affects everything, no? Operational expenses, and besides that, you will have to also conduct trainings. So yun yung dati wala. Isa pa to, Coach, no? Meron kaming kailangan gawing training then as part of what we have proposed to the approving bodies, that we will have to go kahit naman virtual trainings, no, but all organizing committee members will have to go through certain trainings, or they have to be familiarized with certain safety protocols, and we are partnering up with responsible units like, for example, DOH or IATF to actually help us on this one. And this is not just Trisports. You will have to speak with other units here. Hindi to isang laban lang namin. Laban nating lahat to. All of us would want to go back, 'di ba? But of course, ayaw nating madiliin. We want to make sure that we do it the proper way that we're doing it. Parang training mo lang yan, Coach. Kung mag-design ka ng programa, hindi naman pwedeng, 'di ba, basta-basta sabak tayo sa 70.3 or full Ironman. So yun yung mga bagay na yun, no? And then moving from the participants' point of view, I think one major difference is mababawasan yung social aspect ng race. Kasi ang source naman natin ng modes of transmission naman ng virus is through, di ba, airborne yan, or droplets, or direct contacts. So we will have to avoid that. And how do we to avoid that, di ba? So I think it has been discussed. I've watched your previous live stream also. Marami na yan, nandiyan na yan para maiwasan yan, di ba? Reducing the crowd density, minimizing touch points, di ba? Parang training athletes also to be self-sufficient. Nandiyan yan, no? So we are actually also implementing that. I would say we try to study also the leading organization on that. Let's say, for example, Ironman, USA Triathlons. We try to review also what they have, and then if we can think of something else to improve it, and then we try to implement it. It's kind of hard and challenging for us. But I think, as mentioned earlier, we are dedicated in contributing to our winning battle sa against COVID na ito na kinakalaban nating lahat, Coach.
Okay. So it's really, I guess, unknown territory for
That's
everyone, the athletes, the organizers, even definitely the local government units, diba? Pero like what I mentioned to Carlo, the nice thing again about this sport is that it's gonna be easier to practice social distancing, to ventilate, diba? Given na ventilated yung course kasi nga open outside the, in outdoors tayo. And apart from that, I guess when you think about it, as an athlete, if you're gonna race, hindi ka naman rin magre-race na may sakit ka. Diba? I know maraming asymptomatic. I know na maraming, mild, di ba? Pero if you feel something, chances are, you won't force the issue, especially sa panahon ngayon. Alam ko dati, pwede mo papilitin, pero with the pandemic, you really have to take extra caution. And I guess that, to some extent, filters or limits the possible exposure rin of athletes. Yung measures that you guys employed to make this kumbaga a COVID-free experience, maybe we could talk a little bit about that. So first, let's talk about how do we enforce social distancing in a race, given that parang medyo synonymous ang racing with being side by side with competitors, diba? So how can we go about that? How can we practice social distancing?
Okay. Number one, sa event natin, we have 100 participants, no? And um, we limited it, the number of participants. That's number one. Second, we have arranged them to different waves. And within that waves, meron pa silang 3 minutes apart for the triathlon. Meaning, let's say for example, may 10 athletes who will join wave 1 for the turbo sprint, no? So, all of the 10 will arrive or will have certain time durations that they will have to access transition area, do their own body markings. We provide them whatever is necessary. And then when they go to the start area, isa-isa pa yan. Sa 10 na yan na wave 1, isa-isa sila every 3 minutes. We tried to lessen the loops. For example, this turbo sprint has 800 meters for the sprint distance. Ibig sabihin doon, instead of, swimming one lane and then move to the other lane and then balik, that's only 400 meters, no? In Vermosa, kaya natin ko yung 500 kasi they have another lanes pa. Pero ang ginawa natin dito is one lane, you swim there and then back and then move to the other lane so that lahat ng athletes parang isang flow lang siya. Turbo sprint triathlon, pagka nakalangoy kayo, you don't have to go up the staircase and balik ulit, jump for the second loop. Hindi, isa lang. So that's one. That's why for that 10 athletes, it will take 30 minutes para lang sila ma-release natin on a modified system. So that's number one. No? Of course, other than that, during the race course, in the race course, wala silang makukuhang, of course, mga open water cups na normal na meron tayo. Sa run course, sa bike course, wala kami ibibigay. They have to be self-sufficient. It's only 20 kilometers. Sa run course, still every 2 kilometers, meron tayong hydration areas, pero closed water bottles, hindi siya bukas. So, yung mga ganung bagay, no, it was, I think, made known to many already. Yung mga ganung precautions will be done, no, not sa atin. Again, I mentioned about companions. No spectators, but companions. Isa lang. It has to be coordinated with the LGU also. They might be stopped pag nakita pa lang na more than na yung participants with the corresponding number of companions, baka hindi na sila patuloyin, no? So don't try it. So yun. So that's second. I think also somehow it's I wouldn't say it's advantageous, but somehow what differentiates us is hindi kasi kami nandoon sa volume ng participants, Coach Don, eh. Diba? You know our events, it's not like thousands, hundreds, 500s. So somehow we will still limit, no, the number of participants to reduce the density. But still, it's somehow, I would say, more feasible for us than bigger organizers. No, if let's put it that way. So that's another thing. So I mentioned also social aspects of the race will be lessened, and then yes, of course, when on the race course, it's different. No, there will be chances of we will have to overtake. We have also created a system on the registration process wherein we tried to get as accurate as possible your swimming times. So hindi lang siya, for example, I will finish at this time, let's say, diba, under 10 minutes, 11 minutes, whatever. So we tried to get a certain distance, like for example, what's your 400-meter distance right now? What do you expect? And then we try to calculate it based on that. So at least pababawasan yung magkakaabutan din sa swimming area, kahit na 3 minutes apart na sila. So I think we tried to make it as safe as possible, as distant as possible. Of course, but still, no, it cannot be 100%. Eh. May aabutan pa rin dyan, but at least lessened na siya. And the goal here is to be able to provide the safest race course for everyone, for the participants, no. And kami nga din, Coach, iniisip namin, pag sinabi sa amin, Mikey, ibaba mo yung participant sa 50 lang, papayagan namin. For example lang, kami parang, I think we really have to talk to the community and, to make it happen, we will have to get everybody's support. Hindi lang tayo to. We will have to talk to the coaches, to the teams. Gusto ba natin gawin to? 50 lang. So, yun yung point. We want to make sure that we serve as a catalyst to this evolving story of multi-sport athletes battling against winning. We're gonna win this battle against COVID-19, di ba, Coach?
Yeah. So tama ka. You gave some very interesting and truthful insights when it comes to the reality of racing. Kasi syempre it's not something that you can really plan out and expect things to pan out 100%. Pero with the necessary, I guess, precautions in place, kahit pa paano you could make sure that things don't get out of hand. Siguro ngayon dapat talaga maging important na for athletes to follow the no drafting rule. Kasi 'di ba parang it's something that gets thrown out of the window, especially for larger races, 'di ba? Pero with the pandemic, talagang dapat no drafting. Keep your distance. Yeah. Pero I mentioned this to Carlo a while ago. So what's happening is that people are training on their own already, and I don't think it's any less dangerous to train. Let's say I won't mention any places na, pero marami tayong places where we bike and you get to see people there, may nakakasabay ka, may nabubuntutan ka and all. So syempre it's gonna be it's not complete. When you train on your own, you're not completely alone. And I would say nga that when you have a race like this, it's probably gonna end up safer because you will have eyes upon you to make sure that kahit na hindi yung mga marshal hindi actively calling you out, at least may eyes upon you to make sure that you're practicing the necessary steps to stay safe, diba? Kasi if you train after biking, baka may chances na tambay muna, 'di ba? Hang out, gano'n. You're drinking, you're eating, so nakababa yung mask, you're not properly spaced out. So I wouldn't say that that's any safer than what holding a particular race at this point. And pag-usapan natin before the live stream, gyms nga open na. And these are enclosed, 'di ba? Kahit na sabihin mong isang gym, capacity niyan 30, sabihin mo 10 lang. Syempre mas kahit pa paano dahil hindi siya kasing open, kahit na may alcohol kayo and all, there's always that risk involved. So it depends talaga on the athlete whether you see that risk as something that's insignificant or it's dangerous. Pero ako personally, the way I look at it, it's not really that, it's not a point of concern hearing all these things that you hear. So yung isa pang concern is like racking your bike. How far should the next participant be? Alam ko malaki ang Vermosa and you have a lot of space for transition, di ba? Pero how far apart are the bikes?
Ang isang bike rack namin, Coach Don, is normally meron kaming 2 sets Meron kaming 7.5 feet saka 8 feet na bike racks, no. So when we computed it, basically per rack, dalawa lang ang ilalagay namin na bikes, no. So parang at least meron siyang about a meter apart from each other. So sabi nga namin, mas konti participants pero yung racks namin, ang dadali namin is the same number of racks kasi nga we have to limit it. So to answer your question, meron kaming about 1 meter apart, or more or less mga dulo-dulo siya. So let's say parang mga 5 feet to 6 feet yang distance na yan per bike ang lalabas.
Pero again, going back nga, dahil nga nasa labas siya, outdoors, kumbaga the risk is less pronounced, especially dahil alam ko yung Vermosa mahangin diyan eh.
Yeah. That's
It's
another
not
thing, Coach. Correct. Oo. When we had the meeting with our coordination meeting with Vermosa, parang the whole area is about 7 something. Yung sports area is about 7 something hectares eh. So if we are to look into the main main area where the foot traffic will be high, nasa around 3 hectares ang pinag-uusapan natin. Kung meron tayong 2 meters na social distancing front, back, and sides, no? Sobrang laki ng area. Besides the fact that it's very open. Kaya nga, pag medyo binagyo tayo dyan o masama ang weather, ang hirap dahil open na open yung area. So, you're right. You're correct with that. Na it's a lot safer, I would say. Especially with the safety precautions, ground markings that you will have to put in place for all the athletes and organizers as well.
So siguro like you mentioned that the turbo sprint biathlon, your target market is actually more of the newbies diba? And I guess advantage na rin yun ngayon kasi being a newbie, you don't really know what to expect. Wala ka pang nakasanayan, wala ka pang, routine na parang medyo spoiled ka na when it comes to the event, diba? So being a newbie, you have, kumbaga, everything is new to you. So this is something new, pero it's not any different if it's your first time to race. Of course, hindi lang naman siya for newbies. If whether you're an advanced athlete, a veteran, you're more than welcome to join this race. Right? Tama, di ba?
Yes, that's right. Oh. Ano to actually, normally, ang turbo sprint natin, yan yung a week after ng 70.3 eh. So marami dyan, newbies na sumasali. After samahan nila yung daddy nila or yung mom nila na mag-join ng race, let's say in Cebu, for example, pagbalik sa Manila, yung anak naman nila ang susuportahan nila. Though, some seasoned athletes would also join this race, no? But I would say it's more on it's a newbie-friendly event, and it's indoors. I mean, swimming pool pala is it's a pool-based, hindi siya open water. So yeah.
So maybe we could I know you have some material there. Could we show a little bit about what they can expect when they race? So maybe yung pool, I guess you have pictures about the bike course, etc. So I could transfer the screen or transfer the entire screen to you, so you could show some relevant information that everyone can get. All right, so may tanong si Monching while we're waiting for you. So may green light na ba from Imus? As mentioned, we're waiting for it next week, diba?
Yeah. Oh. Wait lang, share. Can you see this now, Coach? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay, wait. I'm not so familiar with the...
You could, there's a share screen there. Yeah.
Okay, so, there you go. Yan.
Wait lang. Sige. There we go.
Okay, kita, no? Yan, is that clear?
Maybe you could zoom out a little bit.
Zoom out. Wait, naka presentation format to. Ayan, okay.
So medyo naka-crop lang, no? Teka lang. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, medyo naka-crop lang if you could see the screen. Pero yeah, maybe we could get our,
okay,
continue with it naman. Okay lang.
All right, Coach. So I'll go through it very quickly lang. If you will see here, for example, wave 1 to wave 1 is bib number 1 to 20. So there is a actual scheduled time for them to check in, and also there's going to be a winner's opportunity towards the end. And then the rest of the participants who are not expecting podium finishes, hindi naman kami nagiging judgmental dito, no? But dun sa mga ibang, for example, not expecting to finish, we encourage them to leave the vicinity. So ito lang yung isang example on what's gonna happen for the turbo sprint triathlon distances. No, it's very clear. For the biathlete, it's similar, but they are the waves are subdivided into a minute interval. So bawat alis na latigo 1 minute yan. I move on to the race course first. Everything still is within Vermosa vicinity. So this is the bike course. I won't go through that in details anymore. This is the biathlon race course. Here, I would like to share the plan for keeping and maintaining the safety protocols. So, as you can see here, there are some codes seen on this file that shows the exact locations of the safety or sanitizing areas or control points that we have established to ensure safety, and also all the minimum public health standards will be followed accordingly. No, so ito yung mga areas na yan. Meron tayong sanitizing areas, floor mats, meron tayong point wherein a non-contact temperature reading will be done as well, and so on and so forth. No, these are some of the protocols. Also, you will notice there that everything will, most of it, like for example, race briefing, of course, will be done virtually. A link will be sent to them, and then I'll show here also like a brief online meeting with the Vermosa team. Also, these are the visits done with the municipality and with the governor. So basically, it's I just went through it very quickly, so at least everyone will have an idea of the preparation that's being done by our team, and also together with the other partners for this event.
Okay, so siguro yan na yung pwede ko gawing next prep blog entry ko, like discussing what to expect on a more detailed level about the turbo sprint and biathlon. So nag-mention nga itong si Adele just finished his 42K. I hope magkaroon na ng aquathlon. So magkakaroon na, if as long as we get the permits ready, magkakaroon na yan sa December 6, right? So let me bring in Carlo again to the stream. Siguro Carlo, if you're ready. All right. So yeah, hearing all these things, medyo nakaka-motivate, nakaka-excite ulit. Ako, personally, I really want to get back on the race course kasi the past 8 months have really been, taking its toll. Lahat tayo stressed, lahat tayo, I guess, pagod. Kahit na nasa bahay na tayo, pagod na tayo with the routine that we've all been having. Pero this is again quite literally a breath of fresh air kasi we finally get to go out and do the sport that we love. Ngayon, so again, we're yung mga inaabangan na lang natin dyan, of course, are getting the other again levels of permit until ma-finalize natin yung event on December 6. Now, siguro Carlo, if you have any parting words for our viewers, kasi I know you are medyo ikaw yung directly nagde-deal with the athletes and promotions, diba? So if there are certain things that you want to share, of course, marami na tayo nabanggit kanina, pero just some parting words that you could share to everyone.
Okay, before I say something, Coach Don, allow us to thank you for this opportunity. This has been a great experience for us. And siguro what I will say is that while we all look forward to the race, to the upcoming race natin, let's all do our part. You know, Trisports is doing our part in making sure that everything will be prepared in terms of safety, quality, and for us triathletes or for those who are going to participate, let's do our part pa rin to make sure that we are healthy, we are safe, we are prepared for the race, and that we do not just think of ourselves but others as well. So when we go out and train, let's observe safety measures and apply safety measures pa rin. And again, I think we still have slots for the upcoming event. So if you are interested, I know you are, all those who are watching, you got excited. I think we were all like what you mentioned, Coach Don. We got excited when we were talking about preparation. So you can still register. Just uh, check on the links at our website, trisports.ph, and we are really looking forward to see you on an actual face-to-face, fun, safe, and great comeback race this 2020.
Thank you for that, Carlo. Talagang you hit it on the nail, yung mga nararamdaman na marami sa amin in terms of wanting to get back on the race course. And tama ka, we should all do our part, not just in the race, even now. Kasi our goal is to bring down the numbers. May downward trend na so far when it comes to the rate of positivity, the number of cases, pero we need to keep that down, to bring that down some more para kahit paano we can somehow get back to a more normal life. Kasi in other countries like Singapore, mas normal, may cases pa rin, may COVID pa rin, pero somehow they are all now able to live a very normal life, at least from our perspective. So yun yung gusto natin mangyari, and it really starts with the individual, with what you're doing now, keeping yourself safe in training, keeping yourself safe para ma-enjoy na natin yung sport na to ulit. So again, thank you for that. Mikey, any parting words?
Okay, again, as in advance, thank you, Coach Don, for having us here. First, I have always told our team when we talk that the triathlon community has grown in tri-dimensional manner. When I say that in terms of increasing participation, you can see that. Second, also you will see the development or the development of the support group. I would say those are the coaches like Coach Don. The I would say um, the equipments, the technologies that's there. Those are the supporting equipments or things that's there. And lastly, I would say also because of the development of the playing field or the events natin nagde-develop siya as we go along. So I guess Trisports will always be here. We will stay committed to our purpose of influencing people live a healthier lifestyle. I would like to invite everyone also to be part of this journey. We all have our own responsibilities in winning this battle. So I invite everyone to go with us in this journey 1 meter apart. Thank you, Coach Don.
All right. So thank you again for what you're doing. Not just of course guessing sa live stream, but also taking the necessary steps and having the courage to at least man lang try and holding our race at this point. Kasi like what I keep mentioning is that we need to find a way for us to live through this pandemic as much as normal as we can, but still of course staying safe, di ba? um, for the past several months, for the past 8 months, we've sacrificed a lot, and we're not asking everyone to go back to the old normal that we know. We're just finding a way for us to enjoy what we have given given this pandemic. And I'm really thankful that again you guys have been staying on top of things, making sure that if ever you do hold a race, it's gonna be a race that's safe, still enjoyable, and of course that will help promote health and wellness to everyone. Kasi as much as we do race, I mentioned this early in the lockdown, it doesn't change. Being a triathlete, the presence of races doesn't change that fact. If you're a triathlete because you're training as a triathlete, you're living the lifestyle, and the races are just the icing on the cake. But umabot na rin sa point that we've gone through things for so long that medyo na we become so, we have all this pent up energy that we want to bring out, and we want to experience the race that we do enjoy, diba? So again, thank you for taking the necessary steps, at least, and for the entire community to parang lay down the groundwork for for racing to resurface and fill our calendars again, diba? All right. So again, thank you for that, Mikey.
Thank you.
Now, so again, thanks for everyone who joined. If you want to sign up for the race, you just visit the trisports.ph website. They also have a Facebook page, Trisports. Search for Trisports at mahanap nyo na yan, makikita nyo na. All right. So again, whether racing is something that you're comfortable with now, at least makikita natin what it has in store for us. Hopefully soon, hopefully on December 6th, diba? Now, of course, thank you for joining us once again. It's another Saturday night that you've given us. And next week, we have another special guest. So this time naman, it's taking a step away from triathlon and talking about cross-training, specifically flyweight. So we do have our good friend, Katri Ambilio, who is a flyweight coach and who will walk us through what's involved participating in a sport like flyweight for exercise and for fitness. Okay, so don't forget to watch us next week at the same time, 6 p.m. every Saturday. All right, guys. So stay safe and enjoy the rest of your weekend. See you guys.